Sixth graders, it's Mr. Gardell. How are you today? I sure hope you're doing well. I'm going to apologize up front. It's been several months since I last created a video, so if I'm a little rusty, I apologize. So the purpose of this video is to help those of you who are at home, and also for those of you who are in class and just need a refresher on how to utilize Kami or how to turn it in to Mr. Gardell. So what is it? It is the Map of Minnesota project. Let's scroll down to our September folder, and we're going to take a closer look at this project, and specifically looking at Wednesday, September 22nd, because that's when the Map of Minnesota project will be introduced to you. And for you, you're watching the video on Wednesday, so this is our first day of starting to learn about this Map of Minnesota project. And please understand that it is due on Friday, September 24th. I know that doesn't seem like a lot of time, but trust me, once we go over the information of what needs to be included on this project, you're going to go, yep, that's a lot of time for us to complete this. So the first thing that we're going to do to better understand what we're going to do for this project is click on the date Wednesday, September 22nd. You'll notice at the very bottom there's a learning checkpoint. Make sure you complete that. This learning checkpoint is on lakes, rivers, regions, and totals. Hopefully you become more familiarized after like yesterday's lesson on totals. But we're going to focus on these two things for this project. The first thing that we're going to click on is the Map of Minnesota rubric / checklist. I can open this up with Kami if I want to. I can open it up as a PDF if I wish. But I'm going to simply click View. And I want you to keep this tab open on the top of your Chromebook or whatever computer technical device you are using at this time. So the first thing that I want to point out to you is that this is similar to a checklist, to something that you may have created. Many of us have checklists that we want to get this done and get this done and get that done. That's essentially what this is. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make sure you understand what to complete for this map. So the first thing you're going to notice is totals. Make sure that when you start looking at this checklist, I would encourage you to think back to what you learned yesterday and think back to what each of these letters stands for. The T, for example, stands for title. So make sure your map has one. O is orientation, D is date, A is author. Okay, number 5, L is legend, 6 is sources. Notice how you need 2 or more. And then the other S is scale. As I continue to scroll down, I can see some other requirements that must be on my map. That includes neighbors, such as the 4 states that border us, including Canada. So that makes 5 total neighbors, 3 lakes, 5 cities, 3 rivers, the major rivers in Minnesota, and 2 of the 4 national forest and national monuments. So in the end, this project is worth 25 points. Why am I asking you to keep this tab open? So that you know what to do. If you use Kami, Kami will allow you to literally check off these boxes so you know what you completed. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to print it and then check it off and using pen or pencil as you're completing this as well. So where is my map of Minnesota? Here's where it's located. I'm going to go back into our folder Wednesday, September 22nd. This time I'm going to click on the map of Minnesota itself. The first thing that I want you to do when you click this open, and I actually want you to pause the video right now, read the directions. Literally pause the video, read the directions. I'm going to scroll down to the rubric itself. This is the rubric that I'm going to use to grade your map. Sorry about that notification. And make certain that you read through the rubric so you understand how I'm grading it, and make sure you utilize this checklist that I shared with you earlier. When I scroll all the way down to the bottom, I ultimately will come up to something called Open Assignment with Kami. Kami is awesome. Absolutely loved it when I was teaching online learning last year. And there are different features about Kami that are so great. First of all, it saves automatically. And if you are logged in to your account, your Hastings account, then Kami is there for you and everything will save for you rather than you clicking save. periodically. Okay. So the first thing that I want you to understand is that I have already created a couple of things for you, and I'll show you again how to utilize this. But the first thing that you're going to notice is I already have a title on my map. It does ask for the title to be large, creative, and colorful. That's exactly what I did. But how did I get there? How did I do that? So I'm going to delete it. I click over here, text box. Okay. I'm not going to make it 16 size because that's just too small. I'm going to make it 36 font size. It's got to be colorful, so I'm going to choose blue. Then I'm going to click right here just above Minnesota, and I'm going to call my map Marvelous Minnesota. Let's say I wanted to bold it. Okay. Highlight it, click the B for bold, and bam, I have my title. Done that fast. Okay, now I can check off my title. The O stands for orientation or compass rose, creative and colorful. Hey, Mr. Gardell, I see you have a compass rose on there already, but how did you get it? Great question. I'm going to delete it. How do you get to it? I'm going to add media. Do I want to add it from my computer? Maybe, if you have one on there. Google Drive, possibly if you have one saved, but I would use Google image search. So I'm going to click on that and type in compass rose rather than orientation. Click search. Now I have all these different compass roses, and I have to decide which one I like the best that's going to meet the criteria of creative and colorful. I personally like this one. I click it once, click the select button. Look at now I can drag this to wherever I want. I'm going to drop it right there. Ooh, it's too big. So how do I make it a little bit smaller? Just grab the corner, drag it in a little bit, place it to wherever I want. Now I have my compass rose. Compass rose, check, I'm done. Date can be anything from today, September 22nd through the 24th. Make sure you include the month, the day, and the year. Author is you. Legend is a little bit more challenging. Within your legend, you need to have the following. One, symbols and color are a must for capital and cities for sure. Some of you are just going to use national forest. Some of you are only going to have national monuments. If that's the case, then you can exclude national forest or national monuments or whatever one you don't use. But if you choose one, okay, national forest and one national monument as it is down here in the other requirements, then yes, your legend will need to include national forest and national monuments. Make sure you have rivers and lakes, and this is all part of your legend. Legends are vitally important because it allows whoever's reading your map to be able to read it and understand it. Okay. The first S is sources. Just simply include the sources onto your map of what you used. And I don't want you to physically, obviously, put the sources under. Just type out what sources you used. And the last one is scale. Let's go to scale because there's one on the map already for you. And you can see I've already added this. 1 inch equals 25 miles. It does not need to be accurate. You can say 1 inch equals 100 miles. That would be totally acceptable, but make sure you add that part to it. And again, if you forgot how to do that, text box, you choose the font size. Okay, I'm going to go black print this time or font. I click over here, 1 inch equals 100 miles. And then I can put that underneath if I don't like my first one. Move it over, center it, make it look nice and pretty. And there it is. I'm now done with my scale as well. For the bottom of our checklist or the other requirements, make sure that you not only locate where these locations are, but you also correctly spell them and spell them with correct punctuation. For example, okay, Wisconsin borders Minnesota to the east. Again, I'm going to use my text box and I'm going to type in Wisconsin. I not only located it correctly, but I labeled it. Label it means you simply have to include it. What gets tricky is when you utilize, okay, lakes, cities, rivers, and other locations because those are part of your legend. Let's say hypothetically, within my legend, I decide that cities are going to be a dot. So I'm going to go back into Cami. This time I'm going to add a shape. Okay, I'm going to add a circle, and I want that circle to be black, and I'm going to put that circle right about there. Okay, now can I fill that in? Sure, if you want to, but you don't have to. And I could fill it in if I choose to, but I'm not. Although, let's just say that I want to. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now as we're doing this that I want you to have it filled in. So how could I do that? I could put the drawing tool on there, and I could literally fill it in with my drawing tool. Okay. And then another option is if I made mistakes, like I made a little mistake, I can simply erase a little bit so that it takes it away and it makes it look a little prettier. There's my dot to represent Hastings. Now I go to my text box. There's my text box. I'm going to type in Hastings, move it closer to the dot. Drop and drag, there we go. Boom, there it is. Hastings is now represented on this map. Not only did I located it correctly, and I labeled it Hastings, and that dot then will represent a city in my legend. So I showed you a little bit about Cami on how to utilize the features off to the left. The big ones you're going to use, or the ones most common that you're going to use, are text box, drawing, shapes, and add media. If you would rather just simply go to Google search, okay, there we go. If you'd rather go to Google search and type in circle, and that's easier for you to use, okay, and look for a filled in circle like this one, you can always do, oh, that one didn't work. Sometimes that happens. It just doesn't work. So now I got to go back to circle. Okay, I'm going to click on this one this time, select. Oh, that one didn't work either. So let me try one more time, and if it doesn't work, then maybe we have to go to plan B. Sometimes that just happens with technology. But let me scroll down. I'm going to choose this one, select. Nope, that didn't work either. So sometimes images don't work. So you have to kind of play around with it a little bit. So this was good that I came across that, so you can see that sometimes everything's not going to work out perfect. But again, you can use the shapes, you can use the drawing tool. I mean, you could just literally put a bunch of dots. Boom, look at how easy that dot is just by drawing it. And then make sure you label whatever city that is. And again, if I make a mistake, I can use my eraser, and boom, it's erased. When you are 100% completed with everything, you will then ultimately need to turn this into me. So when I say everything, I mean everything is checked off on this checklist. You're going to simply click turn in once, turn in twice, boom, now it's sent my way. What if I wanted to download it and have it saved to my desktop so I can find it easy the next day I work on it? Simply click on the download, have it exported to your computer, make sure it's with annotations. That's all the things that you would have typed, and then say begin export. Okay. If I want to save it to my Google Drive, I can do that as well. Do not save it to OneDrive. Okay. So either your computer or Google Drive, and make sure it's with all annotations so that everything saves. And then you simply can pull that back up and keep working like you started. The other option is you can always keep going back into the Wednesday, September 22nd folder and keep locating that map of Minnesota, which is right here. All right, sixth graders. Sorry for the long video. I wanted to make sure you understand how to use Cami and how to successfully utilize this checklist so that you can be successful on our first project, the map of Minnesota. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Have a fantastic day.